Welcome to the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast.
If you like a lot of wrestling on YouTube, join our cult. Outside, it's hotter than a Kota Ibushi OnlyFans channel, so why don't you come in and cool down with the Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast, where the takes are so cold you'll think they were NXT's ratings. Joining you for the next hour of bollocks disguised as wrestling discussion is myself, Maffew, Jack the Jobber, and lovely Ross. How are you doing, first of all, Jack?
I'm all good. It is boiling outside, isn't it? But I can't think of any better way to celebrate that than by doing a podcast for an hour and 40 minutes or so. So that's going to be good. Ross, how are you?
Delightful. I'd just like to clarify, this is not a Ricky Gervais from Afterlife tribute. I have got some sort of conjunctivitis. I don't know how it's happened. My eyes look horrible. It's made us even uglier than I already am. So I'm wearing sunglasses. I'm not just a pretentious twat. Let's get that out of the way first. Maffew, on with the show!
I'm very happy to have Chris Kamara as he is broadcasting that one goal. That's a goal, but it's not a goal, but it is a goal. 1-0, Jeff.
I thought he was doing some kind of Matrix thing, but no.
No, it's necessary. Believe me, it's necessary.
Okay.
Well, enough about Hollywood, Ross. We'll move on to the news, and like every other week this month, it's been a very bad, miserable week for it. So we'll get it out the way because we do like to enjoy ourselves in this podcast. We like to think that people watch this to be positive, but we can't be wrestling podcasters without talking about the Hana Kimura situation last week or so, due to being on the reality TV show Terrace House, I believe it's called, in Japan. The 22-year-old Yoshi wrestler posted some horrible social media tweets and basically passed away from self-inflicted wounds due to an incredible influx of horrible social harassment from people, not just the wrestling, but because of people who were fans of that reality TV show, which has now been axed, according to BBC News, talking about this. And like I said, it's almost, in some negative ways, we miss out on important news stories that always seem to happen on a Friday. But on the positive thing of this happening, us doing the podcast a Thursday removed from this, is we're now on the upswing, because for people who haven't been online or enjoying wrestling, it has not been a happy place this week. But there has been, at this time on Thursday, more chance for a reflection, more chance for people to look at how they deal with social media online and how they interact with people. There's more analysis to come of that, which can hopefully be a positive thing of this whole situation. Any other thoughts there, Jack?
Just that she seemed... I'd heard of her, but I had very limited knowledge of Hana Kimura. But just from watching little bits and pieces here and there, and then from everything that people have shared in the week since, and everything that people have been saying about her, she seemed like she had a real... like an organic spark. Like she wasn't just a good wrestler, she was a really good character as well. And in terms of like what she was actually like in person, everyone's been telling stories about how she was just the nicest person. So it's a tremendous shame. And hopefully she'll be remembered for really good things. I mean, she was one of the 4 women to compete in the Tokyo Dome just before Wrestle Kingdom this year. She had a really bright future by all accounts, so it's really, really sad news.
And Ross?
What else do I need to say? Like, it's just a massive tragedy, and just be nicer, I guess, is the moral of this story, if there is one to take from it. Just, be nicer. I don't know what you say. Just a horrible situation, isn't it?
No, fair enough. We try not to delve too much into sad stories on this show, but in fairness, if we didn't do that, then we have nothing to talk about with regards to wrestling. So we'll try and move on now. To clarify, last week on the show, we said whatever the news writer had been writing about Drew Gulak, that his contract expired and he hadn't renewed. To re-clarify what's happened with Drew Gulak, his contract expired during negotiating. They've negotiated, it's finished. He'll apparently be back on Friday. Okay. So if no one reported anything, no one would have noticed. So I sent a little congratulations note to Drew Gulak, and he said, "Thanks, I think." Which is the kind of hard-hitting journalism you can expect from a show like Cultaholic. So, nothing to see here. Carry on. Kairi Sane is apparently injured on the pre-tape Raw that will air this Monday, and I'll give you 50p if you can figure out who she was wrestling at the time.
Well, Right, so it was Nia Jax, right? Okay, but
I'll send you 50p in the post.
Thank you. But apparently, I think it was maybe Brian Alvarez has clarified that it wasn't Nia Jax being careless. It was just one of those things that happens this time. Not to suggest that Nia Jax hasn't been careless in the past, but apparently in this instance, it was almost like a boy who cried wolf situation. Like she wasn't actually her fault this time.
That's right, as the theme music says, she's not a monster. I knew that additional bit of story, and I knew Jack knew it as well, so I threw it up and he hit it with a bat. Thank you, Jack. Monday Night Raw started the new step dealing with the C virus that we're not allowed to say on these YouTube shows without losing money by implementing plexiglass. I'll keep it out. This is obviously divided opinion online, but what do you think of it, Ross?
What do you mean it's divided opinion?
Well, it's wrestling.
What, they had plexiglass there as a safety measure? What's the issue?
It looks silly.
No, it doesn't.
It's divided opinion.
Not my thoughts. The thoughts of some people.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. If it's a safety measure that's necessary, they did it, good for them. I just thought it was weird how they did that and the social distancing in the crowd, all to build up to the final segment of the night where there was a massive brawl involving the people who had been social distancing, undoing all their good work. That was a bit weird, but yeah, if it's a safety measure, good for them. I don't see what the issue is, personally.
I hadn't thought about that bit at the end of Raw. Everyone holding their hands up going, well, that was a waste of time, wasn't it? Last episode of AEW Dynamite last week saw, again, what a happy time for wrestling. Britt Baker out for only 3 months, which sounds bad, but it could have been as bad as 9 months, so there you go. Phoenix was too banged up from doing a dive onto exactly nobody that he wasn't able to participate in the Double or Nothing ladder match. But Matt Jackson still did his match with a broken rib. So he can do the Kurt Angle skit and sell some t-shirts, I imagine. And in case you're wondering, what was that Double or Nothing show like? Oh, don't worry, we'll let you know. Let's have a rundown now. Best Friends beat Private Party to become the #1 contenders in the pre-show. They seemed off step compared to what they're usually capable of, in my opinion. Jack seems to be nodding, so I'll let him talk.
It just seemed like a bit of ring rust from Private Party, a little bit. But this week on Dynamite, that we'll talk about later, they looked back closer to their usual form. So hopefully it was just that.
That's right. Brian Cage wins the Casino ladder match with Little Taz there as his manager, which is good times. I like the Casino ladder match. I like the format of having it staggered. Not only was it a good match, but also meant that they will not go back to that crappy Battle Royal format they've had. Progress AEW. So happy to see it. Everyone get to do their little stuff, get their feuds out the way, have people interfere, shine for a bit. Darby Allin got to die, which he's a big fan of. Yeah, I approved of this. What did you think, Ross?
Yeah, me and Jack did a tier list about Money in the Bank ladder matches last week, and we spoke about how one of the WWE ones had 10 people in and how it sort of ruined it. So I was a bit like, oof, there was 9 in this one, I think, including Brian Cage. The backs were up against the wall slightly, but no, it was fun, wasn't it? I just loved... But the main takeaway for me was just Jim Ross's excitement and jubilation at the sight of the brand new, the newest AEW debutant, Brian Cage. What did he say? He was like, it's Brian Cage and Taz. Is that his manager? Is that his partner? What's the relationship here? Oh, that was it. That was the highlight of the match for me. But yeah, Darby Allin's jump as well. The height on that to come down on your legs there mustn't be good. Yeah, good match. Fun.
Yeah, and good to see Brian. I'm definitely not leaving Impact for AEW Cage to show up. From Impact onto AEW.
Impact buried him on the way out, though. So
Oh, did they? What happened, Jack?
He lost 2 matches in one night, and it was against people who would never be losing matches against, if I remember rightly.
Like David Arquette.
You know what? I'm going to have a little search on Cage Match to see who he lost against. Do carry on.
Oh, thank you. Multitasking. I like to see it. MJF beat Jungle Boy in a match I liked because it was the battle of one guy who's going to do every move he knows to put away the other dude versus the guy who will do every cheap trick in the book to beat the other dude. And guess who won? So what do you think of that, Ross, while Jack tasks away?
Just a lovely wrestling match, wasn't it? That was the thing about Double or Nothing for me. Again, like All In was way back in the day. It was a proper variety show. There was something for everybody on the card. And this was more for your wrestling purists. Apart from the bit on the apron, how MJF survived that, nobody knows to this day, I don't think. But yeah, it was just a good match, wasn't it? Liquid wrestling, I think I'd say.
Yeah. Would have been great if he'd had the steel plate in his neck, like when Bret Hart fought Goldberg on Nitro. And
So wait,
while I'm
Brian
looking at the
Cage,
card,
I'm not sure if Brian Cage did get buried. I might have been wrong. Sorry, team. I'm sure people will let us know. There you go. That's my update. I've been on the scene.
need all the diggers in Diggerland to bury Brian Cage. Woof. Chris Statlander defeated Penelope Ford. Penelope. In a match that was as good it was going to be, considering it was supposed to be something else. You have thoughts, Jack?
No, that's pretty much, yeah. Fair play to Penelope Ford for stepping in. I guess. I mean, I predicted that Statlander would win and go on to face Nyla Rose for the belt. That would have probably been wrong, because Nyla Rose doesn't have the belt anymore. So I'm assuming Britt Baker was meant to win that match, but yeah, it was what it was.
Oh, also, Cody, don't call him Rhodes, not yet anyway, defeated Lance Archer to become the brand new, well, not like that new yet, TNT champion. After Cody stolen the show at every other big show / pay-per-view AEW has done since, this was only alright for me. Cody's best move is get the crowd behind him, get the cat excited, as people like to say on this channel. And without that, it was just, okay, there's Jake Roberts, there's Mike Tyson, there's Arn Anderson, there's the dog from Married with Children, and there's a new belt. Any thoughts, Jack?
I thought it was all right still, and I did agree with Cody winning. I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, Lance Archer should have won," but I think Cody's going to be a really good first champion. But I know what you mean. It lacked a certain magic of Cody's usual pay-per-view matches. Ross, what did you think?
Mike Tyson bored pissless is one of the greatest wrestling moments of the year so far. They couldn't cut away from it quicker. It was fantastic.
She'll do it on 3. 1, 2, 3.
But my main thing was, and it just might be me, but WWE do it sometimes where they have the referee come out from the back. They do it once or twice a year to correct the referee inside the ring, and it does my head in when they don't do it, because you set a precedent there. I like precedents to be kept to. So AEW set a precedent in that match, and I hope they stick to it with referees coming out to correct calls. It's just a pet peeve for me, Maffew, and Jack, it might not be for you, but I'm going to put it out there.
I like beef. Dustin Rhodes defeated Sean Spears. Oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it? I'd already forgotten about it until I read it on these results that Jack sent me. Anything to add, anybody?
This was the variety show, like the portion that was just crap. I didn't like this bit at all.
The crap portion.
Just the crap portion of the show. It was what it was. The boxers got a laugh out of me.
Yeah, they were good.
Tully's face on the willy. It's good.
I thought, I didn't realise Spears was this low down the card now, but after this match I was like, oh, he's really doing jobs. I don't know what to say. You know what I mean?
Yes, he was on the 10th match on the card. Hikaru Shida defeated Nyla Rose to win the women's title. And I thought the build was a bit odd, because Nyla Rose had been twatting Shida with canes and putting her through tables, so naturally Shida went, well, I want to be in a match where you can do all that to me and still retain your title. And Nyla was like, get in, that's perfect for me, that's my style. But of course it's like Kane, if that's her gimmick match, then she had to lose, so maybe I'm not with it as I thought. What were your thoughts, Ross?
I can only, because I thought it was a massive shock Shida winning, just purely because of the improvement Nyla Rose has shown over the past few weeks. But I reckon it might be because of a face turn for Nyla Rose. Because certainly me watching her over the past few weeks and the one-liners she has now, she did one during the match, didn't she, with the blackjack table? I forget what it was. Always bet on black, whatever it was.
That's the Wesley Snipes line, yes.
Yeah, but she's making me laugh, and I can only assume that maybe this is a face turn, mate. Like, coming back for the title, I don't know. Because Shida's still a baby face. I've got no idea what to make of it. Just a massive shock. But Nyla Rose is good. She'll go far.
Well, that seal of approval, how can she fail? Any thoughts, Jack?
I thought it was quite a good match, but like Ross, I was massively shocked when Shida won. But I know that a lot of people really like Shida. She's not yet won member of the AEW roster I've really gotten behind. I'm not a huge fan yet, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Maybe she'll be really good. She does one thing that really annoys me. Like, it's just, she does this spot where she whips someone into the ropes and immediately does a drop kick and misses and lands on her face, right? But she doesn't throw the drop kick she doesn't give them time to hook the ropes. She throws them, and it's like she's playing SmackDown and has hit the strike button way too early. She just jumps at their back as they're running away. Apart from that, great. We'll see how she does.
Yeah. Now, when she got the title, hopefully Shida can get more of a gimmick and more time on AEW to have something other than Kenny Omega likes me.
Yeah.
Jon Moxley defeated Brodie Lee to get his title back from that thief and get Brodie in a match where they threw every gimmick that Nyla Rose hadn't already used. I rather liked two big lads getting at it. What do you think, Ross?
That was it, wasn't it? It was just two lads knocking 7 shades of proverbial out of each other. The lovely throwback to Taz and Bam Bam through the ring walk thing. I enjoyed the finish more than anything. Just the shock of it all and a new move to Jon Moxley's Arsenal. I liked it. I like big men slapping each other hard.
The tier list for big men slapping each other hard coming next week to Cultaholic. Any thoughts, Jack?
Yeah, I really liked it as well. I just think Moxley's been an excellent champion so far. He kind of brings something slightly new to every feud that he has, but it's all wrapped up in the really cool Jon Moxley package, guys.
Speaking of packages, The Elite and Matt Hardy beat the Inner Circle in the Stadium Stampede match.
Yes!
In the match that definitely happened. Yes. Bloody hell. Well, they might as well use what they've got, given the circumstances, like Robinson Crusoe, stuck on a desert island, got near crowd, could be pre-taped. Balls, let's just go out and do what WWE does, but way better. So if the Money in the Bank Scramble Ladder match was epic movie, this was definitely Naked Gun 2.5. They used every joke they had. Some of them worked, some of them were a bit like, haha, but at least they were trying, and I approve of this. And I didn't realise how much stuff there was in this match until someone shared a gif of, I forget which one it was, of LAX, Proud and Powerful,
Santana.
doing the Irish Whip, thank you. Santana, Irish Whip and Kenny Omega into the next area, and there was a transition, and then he went to the next bit. Like in the video games, such as WF No Mercy for the N64. And I didn't even get that until they pointed it out. So, what was your favourite bit, Ross?
Oh, what was my favourite bit? There was so much, wasn't there? Sammy Guevara's performance again. Everything he did. He's amazing, isn't he? Yeah, but he keeps getting murdered, so that's a bit of a shame. But I had a bit of a crisis writing my WTF moment script. So I was sat there watching Hagar getting 5 glass bottles smashed off his head going, well, that wouldn't have happened in real life. He would have been bleeding and down on the floor. I was like, I've just been doing these reviews wrong the entire time for these cinematic things. Just sit back and enjoy them. Don't try and critique them. If like the jokes don't work, that's fair enough, but most of them did in this match for me. And I just thought, yeah, I've been doing these review scripts wrong for my part, and I would like to apologise to everyone watching Cultaholic. That was my thoughts. Aww. Just a load of silly nonsense, wasn't it? And just enjoy it what it was for.
Oh my god, the Premier League's restarting on the 17th. What? sorry, I just got an update.
When?
I think I'll find out. I think Owen's just sent a link. What? Sorry, this isn't. Should we talk about this? I don't know what.
Screw the Stadium Stampede. This is bigger.
17th of June.
Bloody hell.
So anyway,
Maffew.
Sorry. Thoughts, Maffew, on the Premier League restart?
Oh, wait. I'll believe it until I see it, and my internet's been awkward, so I don't believe you. I think you're trying to distract us from your thoughts on the the main event.
I don't want to give you my thought. No, I really loved it. I liked how the Inner Circle got taken out one by one, and then I really enjoyed the bar brawl bit. I agree with Ross that you've eventually just got to say, it's all fun and games. The horse was at the start was absolutely brilliant. Just everything that Sammy was really, really good in this, and I just really enjoyed it. It might be my favourite of all of the cinematic or whatever we're calling them. My favourite of all the lockdown matches so far.
Yes. Well, I enjoyed the Double or Nothing show. I got my $19.99's worth because I ordered it via the website rather than the app. Any other thoughts, things, complaints about AEW, or should we let Tony Khan's checkbook do all the talking, lads?
I just really enjoyed it as well. Thought it was good.
Yeah, same.
Fantastic. Well, that was a long intro, so let's cut to the next bit.
Everybody get excited for the Cultaholic Hall of Fame!
And now it's time for
What?
the Hall of Fame.
Wait.
I've been watching SmackDown.
Oh my god.
And it's the Hall of Fame. So in last week's... do I have to do this? In condescending order, Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. 14%. Bastards. In second place, Bob Burnquist. 17%. You're damn right and get his name right. But in first place, by a very wide margin, Martha Hart.
Well, yeah.
69%. Nice. So, as the winner of last week, Ross, I remembered, you may go first this week.
I'm nominating a wrestling theme this week, Matthew. I've been exposed to for the first time, I think. Simon Diamond's ECW theme.
Yes.
Drain
STH.
I've been going on my walks, and for whatever reason, I've been putting on wrestling themes to, march along to. Butcher and the Blades AEW theme, that's a fantastic song to get a power walk onto. But Simon Diamond's ECW theme, it's, wave your arms in the air, just that one. What a tune. Go and listen to it. That's all I can say. Simon Diamond's ECW theme.
Absolutely. He is in the Hall of Fame of wrestlers with better theme music than the rest of themselves. He enjoys with such luminaries as Alex Riley and, for being honest, just incredible. Sorry, mate.
Maven.
Oh.
Maven's
and David Flair. But yeah, it's such an odd song. Like, what genre would you classify it as?
I've got, because it's guitar, it's the main guitars, isn't it? Like the bow wow wow, that bit. It's hard to explain, but it's something that gets you out your chair, waving your arms in the air like you just don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, because they obviously picked it because his name's Simon Diamond. He does the Simon Says gimmick with his manager Dick Hurt. So let's just pick this, and it's like, whoa, that's so cool. That sticks out so much. Doom, 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 doom. And then he comes out doing this, and you're like,
Yeah. It does work as a package, like. Simon Says, get your arms in the air.
Jack, what have you got for us?
Well, first of all, because we made Shad Gaspard an honorary Hall of Fame, should we do the same for Hana Kimura this time?
Yes.
Yeah, because we did that last week. But
I'm glad that you have to ask as if either of us were going to go, nah. Could she ever beat?
Right. My actual, my one for the Patreon this week is... So I'm surprised that Ross mentioned Afterlife in the start of the podcast, because that's what I've been watching for the first time this week. I've never watched a show so conflicting, because one minute you're devastated and one minute it's hilarious. It's just such a roller coaster of emotion. But I'm going to nominate my favourite character from Afterlife, and that is Postman Pat. He's such a good character if anyone's seen it.
What?
Have you not? He's just a postman who happens to be called Pat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe him. He's a bit of a scruffy, weird... He's always trying to come in and just make himself a breakfast in Ricky Gervais's house. But he's quite sweet and charming in the same sort of way. I think he's a wonderful character. And he's played by a very funny comedian. I've forgotten his name. He's
Joe Wilkinson.
Joe Wilkinson, that's the one. Yeah, Joe Wilkinson. Matthew, are you familiar with Joe Wilkinson?
Not off the top of my head, so I'll Google him and see if FIFA's still on.
You'll recognise him.
Yeah, he's on, when 8 out of 10 Cats does Countdown, he's the assistant.
Oh, that guy. There we go.
The bearded guy, yeah.
Yeah, him.
So my nomination is Postman Pat, but not that one, the one off Afterlife. Although I do love Postman Pat as well, the original, the OG.
Yeah, if you want to win, you should just put Postman Pat and just put in brackets disambiguation like they do on Wikipedia.
I'm choosing Cristiano Postman Pat, not Brazilian original Postman Pat.
That was good, Dan. I like that.
Thank you.
Ooh, It's a tough one this week, so I have to make mine matter. My Hall of Fame pick is my favourite mobile game of 2020, which is the game of Mental Health. Like Dark Souls, though, it's a very hard game, so I thought I'd give some 3 handy cheats to help you brag on the playground to all your mates. 1. Space out social media usage. Has a hell of an effect on your sanity meter, and you will need that later on in life. 2. If you see someone with an opinion you dislike, no need to screenshot or quote tweet him and tell your mates he's a bag of poo. Just block him, mute him, and move on. Be a much happier thing for you. And 3, follow me on Twitter at Maffew Greg. And only with these 3 tips will you slay the anxiety dragon and save the fair princess maiden, Happy Hedia of Austria. Didn't get this far on my analogy.
Of Austria.
She's foreign. Don't laugh, Jack.
It started off so well. It started off so strong.
The last hurdle just took us out.
Happy Hedia.
Hit it with my knees, face first in the ground. I was doing so well. So Mental Health, the game that, unlike certain other ones, is definitely not overrated in my book. I think everybody should play it, but play it well. And don't feel bad if you lose now and again. Pick yourself up. Be like a Tom Campbell. So my Hall of Fame pick is Mental Health.
I think it's a very good point about spacing out. I tried it, and it really does make you feel less anxious about things, doesn't it? Because you're subjecting yourself to such a barrage of stuff and opinions and things that'll make you feel insecure or things that'll make you feel like you're comparing yourself to people. Everything, like all that stuff. So yeah, take a break from it. Absolutely works, 100%. Good one. Good call, Maffew.
Wow. What a Hall of Fame selection. Again, like a bag of revels, isn't it? So, you have the choice between Mental Health. You don't pick that, what's it saying about you? Postman Pat, in brackets, no, not that one, to other one. It's Simon Diamond's original theme. Can you name the band, Ross?
I haven't got a clue. It was just on YouTube is Simon Diamond's ECW theme, and it's got the picture of him doing the old pose. That's the one I saw. I hope we get comments like we did with the Mike Awesome theme, like Cultaholic brought me here. I like looking at them.
It's weird, isn't it?
Wait a minute, I'm going to check. Well, you can actually, Jack, can you do the bit? Because I want to see if I've actually got that on my phone right now.
I was just going to say it's weird that all 3 picks for the Hall of Fame this week are things where we can take important lessons about our own well-being from. Mental health, the program Afterlife, and Simon Diamond's ECW theme as well.
If I wanted to vote for one of those, Jack, where would I go?
You would go to patreon.com/Cultaholic, where you can vote on the winner of the Hall of Fame and enjoy many other things as well. So check it out.
This is This Week in the Wrestling. It's this bloody week in the wrestling.
And now it's time for This Week in Wrestling. Could do that until Jack stops laughing at it.
For audio listeners, for audio listeners who are confused by we're laughing at the start of every segment, Maffew's got a very fancy high-end graphic that he keeps flashing up at the start of every segment. It's really interesting.
For audio listeners, we need to sing the official new Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast theme, which is The Greatest Show from The Greatest Showman. This is The Greatest Show! Join in, Maffew.
Yeah. Wave them around like you just don't care. Yeah.
One of the first times I ever met Tom Campbell, it might have been the first, certainly one of the first times I ever met him, was I was part of the pre-show quiz at North Wrestling, and it was Halloween, and Tom dressed as P.T. Barnum from The Greatest Showman, and I've never seen Tom more in his element than coming out in his top hat and his tailcoat. He looked absolutely fantastic. It was wonderful.
Random Saturday night clubber for Tom, that. That's not a fancy dress costume. He goes out in the town like that.
I was going to say, where's that around the house? Anyway. We love you, Tom, by the way.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
Yeah, but I love Tom, like, non-ironically, so I don't want people going, oh, talking crap about you.
No, he's the Greatest Showman.
That's right. SmackDown, to just completely turn the heat from hot to cold.
SmackDown takes a battering on this podcast.
SmackDown was good last week compared to Raw. At least there was wrestling.
I'll agree with that because I skipped a lot of this. So the bits I liked, I watched. Braun beat Miz. So Morrison challenged... we're saying such nice things about SmackDown, won't we? Morrison challenged Braun to a handicap match for Braun's title at Backlash. He accepts. He lost his IC title in a handicap match. He is not Braun Strowman. That's his brother.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's a very good point.
And of course, it will be a handicap match at
No?
Backlash. And it won't just be a handicap match at Backlash. It will be the greatest podcast
ever.
match ever. Should have thought about that, really. Where are we at? AJ Styles took on Nakamura in what was a surprisingly good match. I'm not saying surprising like these two have bad matches or anything else like that, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who are still disappointed that these two did not reach the lofty expectations that they had in New Japan during the never-ending ball-smacking feud a few years ago. This match, however, I enjoyed, and I especially liked AJ Styles not being able to properly hit a Styles Clash because Nakamura did his arm. So
Yeah.
I appreciate them doing that. Good for them for trying. Any thoughts, Ross?
That reversal Styles did from the old triangle thingy into the Styles Clash was it was lovely. But yeah, is that the best match they've had in WWE? Maybe.
No, they had a good one at Money in the Bank, was it?
They had the feud ender, but I think that was at the Australian Super Showdown thingy.
I feel like their last man standing match was good, whenever that was.
Yeah. It's a weird
that
time,
what
that, wasn't it? When they had
think
good
that's-
matches and then just stretched them out like too little butter on too much bread.
I feel like there was a match when AJ finally got his revenge and hoofed Nakamura in the balls. That was a good moment.
Aye.
But yeah, generally, no.
Good memories of Rochambeau. Bayley versus Charlotte. And good God, I think there's less dialogue in comic book fights than there was in this match. Aha! I am going to show you how we fight on SmackDown. No, I will show you how he is the best in SmackDown. No, I am Charlotte Flair, and I was born this year, and I'm... Anyway, Bayley outflares the Flair and holds the ropes to get the win without Sasha's help. Mrs. Jack, any thoughts?
Charlotte was happy about losing. She was just pissing herself laughing on the canvas after she lost. Don't understand. But it was a good match though. Bayley and Charlotte. I think that out of all of the horsewomen, Charlotte probably has the best matches with Bayley or Sasha. But this was a good one.
And Ross, do you want to do any more talking than Charlotte already hasn't?
They need to take lessons off Johnny Drip Drip. My main takeaway from this week's SmackDown was how good Johnny Drip Drip. You know who Johnny Drip Drip is, don't you? Easy for me to say. Johnny Drip Drip. How good he is with microphone in hand. He's amazing, isn't he? I didn't realise he was this good. Anyway, Sasha being backstage and being told to be there by Bayley was a nice little touch. There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Otis and Mandy lose to Ziggler and Sonya after Otis focused on helping his girlfriend because he's a great guy, and Dolph took advantage because he's a dick. Yeah.
Sonya was good again. Sonya's been really good.
I liked how they doubled down on it. Didn't do the old 50-50 booking that we all hate.
Yeah.
I like that.
Did we see Thirsty Lance Storm on Twitter? It was really good.
Was he literally thirsty?
No.
Because I can't imagine the other one for Lance.
Ooh, give me a sparkling water.
Did he see a particularly good-looking headlock on Twitter?
He was a little bit horny, but in a very Lance Storm sort of analytical way.
Go on.
I am horny.
If I could be horny for a second.
All rise for the Canadian national... Oh, there we go.
So Sonya put up a picture of her with she's just got an insane set of abs at the minute. Her body, she's obviously been hitting the gym hard, or a home gym presumably. And Lance, she said, the caption was something like, "I've got more abs than friends, and that's the way I like it." And Lance Storm replied saying, you could still have a fair few friends as well with abs like that. That was the implication of what he was saying. Oof. Thirsty Lance. Maffew looks unimpressed.
I literally can't. It's like Data from Star Trek being horny. Do you like men? Because I like women. Do you know Chris Jericho? He does a drop kick. Oh, whatever. Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus was the main event. Sheamus beat the hell out of him the whole match. Again, going, hello, fella. You know, Charlotte Flair spreading. But Jeff wins with a roll-up. And if I was a wrestler, my finish would be the roll-up because no one kicks out of it. Any thoughts, Ross?
Yeah, it was just a shock because I thought it was going to be nailed on Sheamus winning the tournament and rounding off his total set of championships. In the Continental one's the only one he hasn't held. But I was thinking maybe Jeff wins the tournament now and Sheamus is his first challenger. Lovely little tie back in, I don't know. But it was a shock all the same. A nice match though.
Yeah. He didn't sit up and go, yeah, like Charlotte. So, any other thoughts on SmackDown, Jack?
I just, like Ross said, I just thought it was a better show than we're used to from SmackDown. So good on them.
There was no Last Dance or Vice this week, but there is The Last Ride on the network. Netflix's The Last Dance covered the Chicago Bulls' historic 6 wins, so you watched it knowing the outcome was a happy one. The Last Ride is slightly different. The Undertaker is eager to have that one good match to finish his career properly. This week was the Brothers of Destruction versus DX from Saudi Arabia, and the next week's Goldberg. Schadenfreude is so good here, I'm surprised Chris Brooks hasn't already made 5 t-shirt designs of it yet. Did you get a chance to see it, Jack?
No, I'm behind on The Last Ride. However, my girlfriend watched it and updated me and said that it's really cringy. It's just really cringy to watch at the minute because we know what's going to happen. That the match isn't going to be good. Not the general tone of it, just knowing what's going to happen, as you said. But I saw that a clip of that outtake that's really funny when they call out DX. That's really good. Yeah, and then Kane does the crotch chop as well because he was a former member actually of D-Generation X, wasn't he?
He was an associate. I mean,
yeah, like Bret Hart and the NWO.
Have you ever read a full recap of Bret Hart and the NWO and the storyline?
I've tried, but it's so convoluted. It's like the Metal Gear Solid storyline.
It's the Revolver Ocelot of NWO. But on Monday Night Raw, Apollo Crews wins the US Championship after defeating Andrade. It's only the second most surprising result of the night as Angel Garza beats Kevin Owens. Ooh, nice write-up there, Jack, that I read all in one go.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's right. Apollo Crews finally winning something important. If we just ignore that weird knee injury thing he had happen before Money in the Bank, don't know why it happened, I think things look okay for Apollo Crews. Can we get excited about that yet? What do you think, Ross?
Well, the injury thing was to garner sympathy for the guy, wasn't it?
Oh, was that what it was supposed to?
Yeah, he was on a roll, then he got injured, and he did the slap thing, which sort of, hey, go on, Apollo. It's the most interesting Apollo Crews has been in the 5-6 years since he's been there.
Is that how long he's been? Oh, my God.
Well, he was on takeovers against Corbin in 2015, wasn't he, and stuff like that. So
Go back to Ring of Honor.
He was there when we went to that NXT show in Newcastle.
Yeah, nobody cared back then.
That was 4.5 years ago.
It was.
Oh my God.
What was it? December 2015 or something like that?
Oh man.
It's disgusting, isn't it? Life is going too quickly. But I'm interested by Apollo Crews and good for him winning. He's a good wrestler, but it's just the character, isn't it? There's been nothing to get behind, but now he's sort of got a set of bollocks. Oof. Go on.
They call those bollocks Stone Mountain. Let's see. Rollins cut a promo on a Rey Mysterio Jr. mask. Next week there'll be, apparently, a Rey Mysterio Jr. retirement ceremony hosted by Rollins. But it'll be a shock if he actually does, of course. Oh, thanks, Jack.
People think that Dominic's going to get involved.
Is he going to wear the teal suit?
The teal suit.
Like Mark Henry.
Salmon.
Ah.
Teal's not pink.
Is salmon a colour?
Is teal green?
Teal's like greeny blue, yeah.
Oh, crap.
But I'd like to see a teal suit. It'd look like Dumb and Dumber.
Why did I say teal? Oh, yeah, that's a teal suit. Oh. That's one for Diddlers of Cultaholic. Thank you very much. Later, Murphy in Theory beat Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo. Team Rollins causing causing Pocky trouble.
Well, yeah, I just thought Team Rocket, Team Rollins,
nice.
Poker Trouble.
Causing trouble, Pocky trouble.
Yeah.
We're gonna capture Pikachu. The Iconics apologise to each other for their recent fight. Their women's tag champs come out, and Nikki cuts a good promo on the challengers. Peyton and Billy attack and hold the belts aloft. Always like the usage of the word aloft. And Nia Jax becomes number 1 contender, winning a triple threat match against Charlotte Flair and Natalya, with the thing being that they were all former champions. Now, when that can't be right, now when, oh yeah, Natalya did hold it like 4.5 years ago, when she was visiting Newcastle for the NXT show. And then the Viking Raiders and Street Profits play golf, and then mini-golf. That leads to Street Profits versus MVP and Lashley, which ends with Lashley getting himself DQ'd. Here comes Big Drew, and they brawl until the next NXT PC crowd members separate to end the show, and they all get infected and die. Any thoughts here on anything?
Ross, what did you think about the golf? Because I really want to know your take on it.
It's entertaining. It's better than random. It's better than random tag team matches that they're put on for the sake of it, and the champions always lose. It's better than that. That's the way I'm looking at it. At least they're doing something a bit different.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Are they friends now?
It's a friendly rivalry, isn't it? I don't understand. I just don't understand why the Viking Raiders keep letting them win or whatever they keep doing. I
don't know.
It's fun, isn't it? Crocodiles or alligators were involved. Yeah.
See, I skipped it, so I thought it was great.
They're bowling next week, aren't they?
Oh,
can't wait to see Ivar do the old Fred Flintstone with the sound effect. And then the spotty teenager working behind the counter saying he looks cute.
Oh yeah, because was it the policewoman who?
Yeah, it was two different. Was it a security guard or somebody again said he was cute? He's a magnet for people of authority.
Yeah, of a person in uniform. And actually, I've seen mini golf, crazy golf there even, and it does remind me about. I was tempted to put it in the Hall of Fame, but I thought it'd be nice. Any interesting for you lads? I know you're not from the area, but being from Bishop Auckland, seeing Barnard Castle trending on Twitter.
Oh, not this.
And it wasn't crazy golf or Class C drugs for a change. It was due to the man comings and goings.
Ah.
It's a bit of wordplay. Have you been to Barney?
I've played them in rugby because I'm a little posh boy.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Oh. So I didn't like them because they beat us. So there you go.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm very proud to hear that.
Yeah, cheers.
And there was that one player for the Atlanta Falcons who is from Barney, so he's loving this. He's telling people, look, we're trending, and they go, I don't care. That's like talking Atlanta. Anyway, that little discussion aside, AEW Dynamite. The Bucks and Matt Hardy beat Janela and Private Party after Party Quen appeared to get hurt, but no, it was not a real injury like all of last week's episode. It apparently was a worked injury, so get Matt Hardy a reason to exit the ringside area, tell Quen the back, so that Butcher and the Blade could attack the Young Bucks, and then lead to the debut of FTR.
Say yeah.
The revival. We can say it.
Yeah.
F the rest. That's what it means, isn't it? Officially in AEW, the t-shirt says F the rest.
Nice.
Not fear the revolt or something. Yeah.
It can mean lots of things.
Yeah.
Anything you wanted to.
I'm trying to think what it could stand for. Fear the Reaper, like.
Yeah. Too much cowbell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Britt Baker is out in a wheelchair and says her injury was a result of a conspiracy. conspiracy led by Aubrey Edwards, and she says she'll be back at All Out in September. It's
so good. I love how she thinks it's Aubrey. I hope that it continues. I hope that her and Aubrey do eventually, like, maybe have a match. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I hope her and Aubrey have a match.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously a very crap thing to happen to a wrestler get injured. However, Britt Baker is so good at segments and talking and making Tony Schiavone's life a living hell that it's almost good that happened to her because she can just do this every week and I'm fine with it.
It's like when Angle hurt his leg.
Yes.
And he's in the wheelchair.
Cody announces a weekly TNT Championship Open Challenge. It will begin next week against Jungle Boy, who won a Battle Royal, which includes some tension between MJF and Wardlow.
Wardlow's starting to walk for miles inside this pit of danger, isn't he? He's starting to get that way. I'm really excited. Do you think? Yeah. With a Kenny Omega facial expression as well.
Yeah. What if Lance Storm was in Evolution? Not really bothered. Jericho and the Inner Circle have a pep rally to cheer themselves up after losing at Double or Nothing. After getting... You haven't left it, you haven't got it here. I've got my notes though. Jake Hager's poem.
Oh, happiness.
My God.
Oh my God.
The highlight of his career, and I never thought the 5-star wrestling promos would be beaten, but the end to that poem, my God.
Yeah.
I've started calling him Head and Right though. It doesn't quite work when it comes out your mouth. It's better written
nice.
down.
Yeah. Sorry. There we go. That's a Lance Storm approval.
Did anyone else find that even though they're heels, I felt really sorry for the Inner Circle? They're so sad about losing the Stadium Stampede match. They've got to get rid of all these t-shirts.
Oh, do they feel sorry for them? Oh, look.
I just feel sorry for them. Sammy on his crutches again. Oh.
But don't feel too sorry for them because Mike Tyson comes out with Vitor Belfort. And I'm glad that they named him because I did not recognize him because he used to be blown up like a life raft. Now he looks like a human being. I was like, oh, okay.
He was big on the TRT.
Oof. What a run that was. Anyway, people will say it was an interesting segment because on one hand, people were going, are they seriously building up something of an incident that happened 10 years ago on Raw that was forgotten about a week later? On the other hand, if you got, I don't know, the internet, like this phone here, you have noticed that Mike Tyson is currently being talked about everywhere, including this here very podcast, because he's been sparring very well for a 53-year-old. There's people wondering if he's going to fight Tyson Fury or Shannon Briggs or whatever like that. And if it turns out that AEW have got him while everyone's speculating he's going to Saudi Arabia to fight whatever, and he's actually getting ready for a match with Chris Jericho, like, well done AEW, well done. So, any thoughts there, Ross?
I want to see Mike Tyson versus that t-shirt again. That was fantastic, that. I've got nothing else to say. It was just, nick the cheese and the champagne, or the bubbly, sorry. Yeah. They can't be going for one. A match between Jericho and Tyson. They can't be. But they might be.
But if it happens, guess who's watching?
There was a bit where Maffew, when you do your next Botchamania, see if I'm right here, because I think I spotted one of these little botches, just want to point out. So Jericho throws what looks to be like a legit right hand into the face of one of Tyson's entourage, and JR goes, right hand to Vitor Belfort. It's not Belfort. Belfort's on the other side of the crowd. Like, he's nowhere near. It's really embarrassing.
You know what isn't Vitor Belfort? Because Chris Jericho wasn't torn apart like a Mortal Kombat fatality immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm glad that wasn't just me and Jim Ross who didn't know. That's Vitor! With all the air let out of him. God. By the way, Jim Ross has been so much better in this 3-man group. I probably said that once, but given that I spent so long ragging on him, I think I should say it every week so people know that I'm positive now. Almost as positive as NXT. Did anyone else see this episode?
I'm catching up on it.
I've only seen the highlights of the cage. That's all I've seen.
Right. NXT has been a bit wee this 2020, I've found. So I've not been much of a fan, skipping ahead stuff. This was a good episode. Drake Maverick wins the triple threat between Kishida and Jake Atlas to decide his block in the interim cruiserweight title tournament. Bit of a weird finish because Kishida, should say, has the top rope spinning armbar from the Mercy on Jake Atlas, but then Drake Maverick pins Jake Atlas, and it's a pin, but it's not a pin, Jeff, but it is a pin, Jeff, but it's not a pin. Thanks for clearing that up. And meaning that Drake goes and is having the match with El Fantasmo at the In Your House.
Not El Fantasmo, you silly goose.
I've typed El Fantasmo here. You're right. It's El Hijo del Fantasmo.
Phantasma. Very similar. One of them's.
I have a cold.
Okay. One of them's proper Canadian and that. And I took him to Rusty's once. Not Rusty's. Where did I take him? Filthy's.
They're both filthy.
No, if Phantasma had stepped into Rusty's, he would never have emerged, Maffew. He would never have come out of there alive.
Have to beat them off like a...
He would have been torn asunder.
Why did I say it like that? Gargano beat a Jobber, and then Mayhem and Keith Lee mocked their previous segments and a bit on the Titantron. Mocking the bit where they sat around the table and they had the bright lights and being all silly and funny and that. And Keith Lee had a good line where he went, "Hi, I'm Johnny Gargano, and I'm the same size as my action figure." I get a mixed tag match there. Should be interesting. Shotzi Blackheart came out in a little tank, and during the match, it got stolen. So she panicked. It was not a good night for her because then she overshot the springboard coffin drop.
Oh, I did see that. Bloody hell.
Oh my god. I can't for the life of me think how this makes sense in Kafab. Why someone would do a move where they can't see their opponent. Don't understand why Kofi does the... Is it trust fall, I think he calls it? Darby Allin, at least it makes sense because, you know, he's a bit raged. But anyway, she does this, can't see, overshoots, lands on her head and neck. Pal's like, oh, I'm supposed to be showing care for you, but I'm actually also worried about you in real life for realsies. But she seemed to be okay enough to finish the match. Yeah. Charlotte and Chelsea Green beat Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley in a match that was so good I skipped to the end because I'm not watching 3 Charlotte segments per week. How dare you say that? But the key bit here was Charlotte Green took the bullet for Charlotte, and that allowed Charlotte to win with a roll-up. Ooh. Adam Cole appears via Zoom and says he doesn't want to see Velveteen Dream again, so I assume he's turned face. And then we had the main event, the best match NXT this year. Matt Riddle versus Timothy Thatcher in a cage. But it's not a cage. It's a cage with no ropes and a little platform on the top. And it looked cool as hell. It made you want to go, I want to become a wrestler so I can have that match. Very much like the Lion's Den from 98.
Was this as good as everyone... I've heard several people say it was really, really good.
I liked it because I like Timothy Thatcher. And it was nice because the previous few weeks have been building him up by knocking him down. I think we'll have to call it the Apollo's Crews push. But this was the time when you want to go, all right, well, what can Timothy Thatcher do? This. Riddle gave him everything he had, and Thatcher's like, nah. Don't care that you knocked out my teeth. Don't care that I'm bleeding. Don't care there's angle here to say, hey, watch it out. No. Took everything he had. Matt Riddle did the Anthony Pettis Showtime kick off the cage.
Nice.
That's just like, I don't care. And beat him, made him tap out. And as a result, Matt Riddle has this horrible punishment where he's been demoted to Raw.
SmackDown, possibly.
Oh, God. Matt, his career up in smoke.
Yes.
So, if you've got a chance to watch that out, not often I put over NXT, so if I'm saying good things about it, then make of that what you will. Yeah, no one else watched it. That's a lot of wrestling. Any last thoughts on any of the wrestling that's happened? Oh no, nothing's happened. Apart from the Premier League.
Let's have a rummage in our mailbags.
Now it's time for the greatest... No, but whatever, the joke's dead. Let's have a look at the mailbag on my phone. Number 1. Hey guys, last week someone named Dylan from Turkey messaged you. I'm from Turkey too, and there's really no one to talk wrestling around here. I would like if you guys introduce me to her. Yes, Dylan is a girl's name in Turkey. Cheers from Turkey, and here's the name. It's spelled Enverhan, so I'm going to go with Enverin.
I guess,
yeah. I'm going to stick with that.
But are we a dating site now?
Yes, we are.
That's the whole question. That's it, by the way. That's the whole thing. Okay.
We're taking professional wrestling to Turkey, man. It's a lovely, wholesome thing. If the aforementioned name I've forgotten is watching, get in touch. Get the mailbag contacted. We'll set you up on a Zoom call so you can watch wrestling together. What a lovely story.
But if you don't want to, no pressure. Don't feel like you've got to. It's totally up to you. What is going on here?
So, Dylan, can't wait to hear from you and all the message you're getting from our new friend Easy-E. And this reminds me of the glory days of Power Slam magazine, where in the back pages it used to say like, hi, Maffew from County Durham. Yes, that County Durham. Wants to talk with friends who are big fans of the Hardy Boys. That's how it used to be, people. Come on. This isn't that weird.
Do they still have in the Metro paper where it's like, spotted a lovely lass on the at Monument Station, would love to make her mine? Like, what's that about?
Right. I want to hear from people that's actually worked with.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you mean me? And they're like, send us a picture. Nah. Question number 2. Hello, Dreamboat. Oh, might be the same person. I hope you're doing well. I've been using quarantine to finish writing a middle-grade graphic novel about a girl who wants to be a pro wrestler. The hardest part has been coming up with fake wrestler names, so I've been using Create a Pro Wrestlers I remember making, and here comes the pain. For example, the tag team of Mac and Cheese being a big horse and cruiserweight respectively. My question is, did you as kids ever make hypothetical wrestling personas? And if so, what was the most ridiculous, embarrassing, or perfect? Thank you again, as always, for your help during these crazy times, for keeping me updated on wrestling, so I have to watch 647 hours a week of it. Kindly, Dan Davis from Truckee, California. Truckee?
How's it spelled?
Truck, like, you know, rum, 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 and with 2 E's on the end.
Oh.
It sounds like something Otis would yell.
Yeah. Might
Thank
be
you,
Native
Dan
American.
Davis. Oh, well, I look like a hideous racist, so
you don't.
no change
No,
there then.
don't.
Moving quickly on. Any silly names you used to do when you were doing your little creator wrestling thing that we all know you did back when you were wee Ben? Let's go with you, Ross, because I know that you have 3.
I've got one. I always used to go, I don't know why, but I thought Damien was a badass name, so it was always Damien. And my most used one, it was always Damien Blood, which I realised.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, blood, whoa, scary, but now you're D-Blood, Dick Blood, I don't know. That's what comes to mind, I want to say so. But who's Dick? Dick Blood's a thing, isn't it?
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's real name.
Ricky-
Yeah, but right, to clarify, he didn't just say Dick Blood and we all started laughing because I'll type the channel. Yeah, that is, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is his wrestling name. Dick Blood is his real name.
Yeah.
But Damien Blood was always the one to go with. And he always wore shades.
Damien.
Nice. You missed your call on working on NXT. Jeff.
I never had a
Dick
persona.
Blood?
No, I never had a name, but I had a finisher that I made up with a finishing name, but it's just cringiest. It's not so cringy, it's funny. It's just a bit crap. So I always used to give myself on the games and stuff. You know the rocks float over DDT? I just called it the J bomb. Oh, it's just not. It's me trying to be cool, and it just wasn't. So that was my finisher, the J bomb. Yeah.
Good times. Well, I was like the Daft Puns, so I'm like Disco Inferno. So I've got like, not Paul. What was it? Lukewarm. That was one. And at one point in our little federation, and by federation I mean, of course, some lads wrestling her in the front garden until Mum comes home, and then we all ran in and pretended we just got in. We were going to do Singapore Cane, but we didn't know anything about Singapore, so we just had a cane mask and then a Hawaiian shirt.
There he is.
My knowledge
There's
of the
Singapore
outside
Cane.
world, outside the UK and Ireland, was pretty much the end there. So thank you very much, Dan Davis from Truckee, California. Number 3, hello, you handsome devils, you. Oh, thank you.
Why is everyone being like this on the...
Everyone's so bored and lonely. Everyone's hornier than Lance Storm looking at, 1950s wrestling.
Looking at binary.
Hello, you handsome devils, you. I have an interesting question for you this week. Oh, goody. If you could join either the Shield, the Elite, keeping it modern, DX, or the Primetime Players, who would you join? Thanks in advance.
What?
Sean Day. Wait a minute.
Sean Deng.
Sean Day.
Oh,
Like Day of the Week.
WWE commentator Sean.
I thought it was
Yeah, you know
Sean
what?
Deng.
I'll just change it. Yeah, it's Sean Deng. He says, hello from WWE.
No,
He says, the plexiglass does nothing. Oh, sorry about that, mate.
no, Sean Day. Thank you for your question.
So, those names again were the Shield, the Elite, DX, or the Primetime Players.
Millions of dollars. Okay.
He will not be making millions of dollars.
I wouldn't join the Shield. They're too cool. I'd feel stupid next to the Shield. If I joined the Elite, then I'd join the Elite because I've got experience making stupid videos on the internet, and that's what they're all about. That's my logic there. That's my answer. Ross?
I would join DX, because that would be like winning that set for life lottery thing where you get 10 grand every month for the rest of your life, because you're never not going to be relevant if you're in DX. There you go. Maffew?
That's right. I would also join DX because I would join lofty people such as Hornswoggle, who was, for some reason, conspicuous by his absence to the Hall of Fame, but I assume his check's in the mail. That's all I've got there, really. The Shield, you'd get killed at some point. I'm not cool enough to be in the Elite. And the primetime players, I can't think why I'd join them.
You're probably cooler than half the Elite, to be honest.
I would ask them, do you like Simon Diamond's theme song from ECW? And whoever said yes, I would join yes. And if whoever said who's Simon Diamond, I would just kindly decline. Hi there, Dolph Diddlers. Oh, that's good. We haven't had that one. That's good. Oh, well done. Can of Coke. I was enjoying my weekly dose of BBC One hit TV show Casualty. There's no way that's still on telly.
It is every Saturday night, isn't it?
What?
Well, it's not like I repeat then. It's actual, like, proper Casualty. How many seasons is that?
It was on when I was a bairn.
Yeah. On my black and white TV that we had to wind up, it was... that's not true, by the way. Anyway, Casualty apparently is on the air, which is news to me. When out of nowhere, a wrestling storyline... of course it did. There was a deaf man who had the gimmick of a monk because he took a vow of silence. Because he was deaf. The ring announcer would shout to the crowd, "Can he hear you?" And the crowd would be overfilled with joy as they replied, "No, he can't." The monk lad ended up in hospital because a lightning rig fell onto him. Because he couldn't hear it falling.
Oh my god.
But we're all going, "Look out." He's like, "Huh." When he got in hospital, it turns out he had a wife and child who he was ignoring because he wanted to do the wrestle. The show ended with him quitting the wrestle because his wife yelled at him.
So accurate. That's, to be fair, very accurate. That.
So the question is, which wrestle people would thrive in a low-budget, bad storyline BBC weekly drama show? Personally, I don't have an answer because I just wanted to tell the story and forgot to think of a question. Thanks, Harry, my new favourite person.
That was really good.
Oh, God, I'm sweating.
That's the sort of questions you want on the podcast. Ones that incorporate rubbish British TV.
Casualty sounds exactly the same as it was when I watched it as a kid.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, because I've got quite a soft spot for Midsummer Murders. I know it's not BBC. I don't think it's BBC, but I do like a bit of Midsummer. But who would be a good villain in that? Like, someone... It can't be someone overtly, like, conniving, like Kip Sabian. He's way too flash for Midsummer Murders. It needs to be someone a bit... Like, just a bit... Like, any old UK veteran in Midsummer Murders. Let's say Marty Jones. There we go. Marty Jones in Midsummer Murders would be for me. He's a bit evil, isn't he? Well, I don't know.
Where did that come from?
His dirty voice. Just, a horrible dirty accent. And Sam loves to do an impression of Marty Jones, and it's disgusting. I hate it. I wish he wouldn't.
Let's hear your Marty Jones impression, Jack.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm Marty Jones. There you go. Sam's is way better. Sam's is much more... Quite scared now that Marty Jones is going to send some lads around that he knows.
It's a good job no one watches this podcast. Ross, what's your answer? Well, I try not to wee myself.
The first name that came in my head was Ziggler, because of all the soap-esque storylines he's been involved in with his many girlfriends and love triangles and love hexagonals and Vicky Guerrero back in the day and all that malarkey. There you go.
Good answer.
Thank
I
you.
could see him in Hollyoaks or something.
Yeah.
Oof, bit of a burn there, Jack. What's my favourite naff weekly British thing? I think it's Emmerdale by default because my parents still watch it. And I remember the Dingles. And now I see Zach Dingle. He's got a white, but not even grey, it's just pure white Santa Claus now. And I'm like, yeah, I'm old. So, because they've got the wool pack, I would have big, sexy Kevin Nash. And he can do an intimidating thing because he's obviously a big lad. And whenever they come and bother him, I'm like, oh, you're big sexy. You intimidate him by not even looking up as he eats his Yorkshire pudding straight in the microphone.
I can see
My
Marty
favourite
Jones
joke is referencing that one interview, by the way.
I can see Marty Jones getting involved as well in Emmerdale. He's that type.
I can't see Dolph Ziggler in Emmerdale.
Oh, it'd be really horrible, wouldn't it? Like the helicopter touches down in the middle of the field and all the sheeps run away. Like Tom Moore. He's like, is this where the charity wrestling shows up? Oh, God.
You get on thy tractor and piss off right now.
Yeah, yank.
Yeah. Get back to that bloody California before I have a go at you.
Shut that mouth. Anyway, thank you very much from behalf of everybody here, even the people who aren't really here, for those lovely questions this week. Oh, go on.
I thought of a little story. Ziggler wins them over by joining the local cricket team and just like bosses it because he's athletic. And I love him. Hey, I've never seen a cover drive like that for nigh on 50 years.
Well, because you're a yank, we'll call you Hammy.
Can you imagine if like Ziggler nicked all Michael's stuff, he nicked both of them's tash and stuff like that? He's sort of got a Bob Willis perm though already.
Yeah, he does. I want to see Dolph Ziggler in Emmerdale now so much.
If you have any other questions, please send them to mailbag@cultaholic.com, and these guys will do the rest of the podcast while I have a bit of a nap. Now it's time for Reese's Pieces, the segment so good, you know the rest. Tope Con, hello fellas. First, let me just say thank you for continuing to produce fantastic content during a time when many people need it most. You won't be saying that after you've seen the mailbag this week. My submission for this week's Reese's Pieces involves finishes, specifically shared finishes that have been used by more than one person. Ooh, that's good. Curious to hear which of these wrestlers you think is the master of that move. All the best, Jeff from Boise, Idaho, USA.
Boise, Idaho.
I was going to say,
that's a good question.
Boise is Boise, so I assume it's exactly like the guy on Only Fools and Horses who laughs a lot.
I think it's pronounced Boise.
Boise, Idaho.
I think Ross has got the thing there.
Harry and Paul did a skip on the bus, didn't they, back in the day? Is that it?
Oh.
You must have seen that, Maffew.
I have if you have, Ross. But moving on from Dolph Ziggler and Harry and Paul, it's his fastest thought first, so we'll go Jack, Ross, me. Bret Hart Sharpshooter versus Sting's Scorpion Deathlock.
Oh, Bret Hart Sharpshooter.
Yeah, Bret Hart.
Yeah, it's Bret. Yokozuna's Banzai Drop versus Rikishi's Banzai Drop.
Rikishi was better at it, but Yokozuna's looked more destructive, so I'll go for Yokozuna. He's just massive.
Yeah, Yokozuna used to actually sit on them, didn't he? Well, it looked like it anyway.
Yeah, Yokozuna for squishing at least one jobber into pancake batter. Goldberg Spear versus Roman Reigns Spear.
Roman Reigns Spear's like a model textbook spear. It's so lovely and polite, but it's got to be Goldberg's because he just destroys. It's obviously Goldberg.
It's Goldberg, yeah.
Yeah, Goldberg. I'm sure Roman Reigns' running hug is a lot easier to take, but give me Goldberg spearing a big fat guy on WWE Saturday Night 97 any day of the week. Jerry Lawler's pile driver versus Terry Funk's pile driver.
I don't know. I'll go for Lawler, I guess.
Yeah, I'll go for Lawler. But I've only seen Terry Funk do a pile driver in his middle-aged and crazy days, so it might be different.
No, I like Terry Funk's pile driver because he looks like he's actually putting up a genuine fight just to get them up because he's middle-aged and crazy. So it's like, yeah. It's like one leg's there. It's like, It's fantastic. The Undertaker's Tombstone Piledriver versus Kane's Tombstone Piledriver.
In their prime, Undertakers. But nowadays, I don't like it anymore.
Going to be controversial, this, Maffew. I'm going Kane, me. Because Kane, while Taker would go down on his knees, and it looked, Kane used to just sort of let his feet drop from belief and just go like, fall down as quickly as possible. So I'm going to go Kane, because he didn't seem to take as much care.
I think that's a running theme amongst these, that one, because it hurt more. On that note, I'm going with Undertaker's, but specifically that period when Undertaker was in the best shape of his career, and he had flat chest, and to build up, I think it was that Kurt Angle match at No Way Out, he did it to Mark Henry, and you can't even imagine that during 1990 to 98, or current Undertaker, but that period in time was Tombstone Mark Henry, right for the Kurt Angle, and then stared at him like this. Where we at? Bob Backlund's crossface chicken wing or Marty Scurll's crossface chicken wing?
Marty Scurll's, I like the funny setup. How he's there for ages, going for a long time. Marty Scurll's because it's funnier.
Aye, Scales. Everyone loves to sing along, don't they?
I can't believe you're not voting for Mr. Bob Backlund.
Sorry.
The man how you have to name all the American presidents in order to get a autograph with him. Or, just give him $20. He's a wrestler after all. That crossface chicken wing won him the title at Survivor Series 94. How dare you?
I'm surprised you're happy about that because Bret Hart lost.
Marty Scurll's crossface chicken wing is the superior one there. Thank you for reminding me of that. Austin Aries' Brainbuster versus Kid Lykos's Brainbuster.
Kid Lykos shouts Brainbuster, which is always good. But Austin Aries, for all his faults as a likable person, had a fantastic Brainbuster. Austin Aries is a really, really good wrestler, and the fact that he's not as successful as he should be, I think, says more about, him being a bit of a dick than his wrestling. I'm going for Austin Aries, is what I'm saying.
Austin Aries, move on, Matthew. What do you think?
I'm tempted to go Marty Jones' Brainbuster after that, but I'll go with Kid Lykos because he's a good lad. Batista's Batista Bomb versus Joshua Liger's Liger Bomb.
Oh, Batista because he's huge.
I'm going to go Liger because he put them down at a higher angle.
Yeah. Liger can hit it on anybody, but Batista can also hit on any... What stupid logic. Yeah, Liger. Christ, Matthew. Tiger Mask's Tiger Driver 91 versus Tyler Bates' Tyler Driver 97.
Well, Tiger Masks.
Yeah, Tiger Mask. Never seen him do it, I'm just going to say it.
I haven't seen many Tiger Masks prime, but I have seen Tyler Bates. Oh, Christ, was his prime when he was 17 or something? Oh, disgusting. Tiger Mask. Stan Hansen's Lariat versus JBL's Clothesline from Heck.
Stan Hansen.
JBL.
Stan Hansen, he's legally blind without his glasses, so he'll just hit the Lariat and hope he gets you. Big Show's WMD versus... Christ, they did call it that, didn't they? WMD versus Lacey Evans, Women's Right.
Recently, Lacey Evans has really been doing some excellent women's rights, so I'll go for hers, actually.
Neither. Stupid move. Should never happen. Never leaves a mark. Load of bollocks.
I'll be like my granddad and not pick women's rights. And on. Sergeant Slaughter's Cobra Clutch versus Ted DiBiase's $1 Million Dream.
Oh, the $1 Million Dream. I like that.
Oh, the sensual Cobra Clutch.
Aye, I'm going with Ross. The orgasmic Cobra Clutch. Eddie Guerrero's...
Landstorm.
But he would find out pornography, that's the thing. Eddie Guerrero's Frog Splash versus RVD's 5-star Frog Splash.
I think it's still Eddie's, even though RVD's is more difficult. I'm still going to go for Eddie's.
I'm going to go for RVD just because of the little thing after the impact. Ba-boom!
I don't want to pick RVD, who am I kidding? Randy Savage's Flying Elbow Drop versus Kairi Sane's Insane Elbow.
Kairi Sane's got the best elbow drop I've ever seen.
Kairi Sane.
I love Randy Savage. Sorry, Carrie. Big shows. Come on, Maffew. I almost read big questions, so I got confused. CM Punk's GTS versus Kenta's GTS.
Kenta's is better, but Punk's was better for WWE, if that makes sense. Punk's was more sports entertainment-y, whereas Kenta's was more Japanese wrestling. So I can't choose that. I'm going to choose that one, because they're both good in their own way.
I prefer Kenta's just because it was more brutal. I haven't seen him do it too many times, though.
I'm going to say CM Punk's GTS because of the height of Punkamania. My mate hit it on another mate at a club one time.
What happened? Did he hurt himself?
Well, it was like, so he went, oh, put my shoulders. Oh, all right. And then he did it.
Oh,
Newcastle.
Imagine the bouncers at Rise if they had to deal with people hitting finishes on each other whenever a wrestler's theme came on. Yeah, it'd be crazy. Remember Lights Out? Remember that? That's good.
Oh. What's the first place you're going to go after everything goes back to normal?
Well, I'm guessing that pubs are going to open first before nightclubs. Do you mean when everything's totally back open again?
Let's just hypothetically say everything's open. What's the first thing you can do?
I reckon down the Usburn somewhere if the weather's nice.
Ooh.
Clooney or something like that. Somewhere you can have a little sit outside.
Nice. And play with the dogs.
Yeah. What about you?
I'll be tempted to eat everything from any takeaway I pass, to be honest with you. But I think past that temptation, yeah, I'll say the Usburn as well, actually. It's a good answer. What about you, Ross?
Wherever the wind takes me. I would have said spoons. But that's
no.
I don't know anymore. Yeah. I don't know anymore. They've ruined it.
I know my mates are lazy get, and they're going to go, oh, this is good at spoons. I go, no, comrade. Let's get away from there.
Heartbreaking, isn't it?
Yep.
I hope you find out your favourite wrestlers an arsehole.
Probably are.
Yeah.
Let's move on, but if you have any Reese's Pieces, and that was nice and concise, thank you very much, Blokey from Idaho. please send them to mailbag@cultaholic.com.
Jeff, wasn't it? Jeff.
It was, but I like my way better.
It's Cultaholics.
Big question.
Wow. What a great... I forgot to do explain for people. The reason why I've been doing this little stupid sight gag is because on the graphics for Backlash, they've had this for every match that's been announced. So, what a pay-per-view. There we go. What a pay-per-view. Not only will Orton versus Edge be the greatest wrestling match of all time, but so will every other match on the show.
Imagine if it just knocks it out of the park.
Do you see Orton's thing on Instagram? He's like, I bought a plane. But then he's like, the hashtag was like, don't blame me for hating this, the greatest match ever thing. I don't think he's on board, Randy Orton. I wonder where it came. I hope we find out one day where it's all come from. Because it makes no sense. Anyway, that's not why we're here.
Yeah, we're not here to be discussing Backlash. That's negativity we can do without. The big question this week is what has been the best cinematic match of the lockdown era? And we'll have a quick rundown through them. They were, of course, number one, the Boneyard match, and you've got the name of it there, between AJ Styles versus Undertaker, starring those two guys that died and then never came back. The Firefly Funhouse, starring John Cena, Bray Wyatt, and a lot of symbolism. Then we had Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano in the, oh my god, this match appears to be longer than The Irishman, directed by Martin Scorsese, when we then. The Money in the Bank match, where both the women's and men's briefcases were somewhere in Titan Towers. They're on the roof. They said that to start the show. Somehow it took them ages to get to the roof. And finally, the Stadium Stampede match that AEW just had. And an honorable mention, as Jack was telling me there via waving his hand around, that Impact Wrestling, the people who originated the cinematic wrestling term, that's the term everyone else is using, we're going to use it. What was it, Jack?
It was the North. It was a tag team match between the North and Cody, Dina, and Wheels. I've not watched it yet, so I'm not going to pretend I know how good it was. But I think it was meant to be getting decent reviews. I think people said, oh, it was all right. It was all right. But I don't think it was as good as like the better ones we've seen so far. From what I can glean, anyway. but I'm going to check it out and see what it's like.
So, have we just broken that news for a lot of people that Cody Deaner is back in NXT?
I bet, yeah, we probably have. Yeah.
Who's confusing NXT with Impact? Anyway, moving on. Ross, you're a man of culture. Oh, thank you.
Am I?
Yes, that's the segue, and I'm sticking to it. What has been your favourite?
The Firefly Funhouse.
Why is that?
Because I still don't know what it was. I like the ambiguity of it all. We're still not quite sure what we saw. Was it a dream John Cena had? Was it, I don't know, a vision inside Bray Wyatt's head? Was it all real? Is John Cena really gone, vanished forever, never to be seen again? All the references made me laugh, enjoy, have a great time. Yeah, for me, that was the one that nailed it the most for me in this era of silly wrestling that's not supposed to be presented as, it's supposed to be a real fight and whatnot. Anything can happen. That's the one that took it to the extremes more than the rest have. Not to say that I didn't enjoy the rest of them. I did. I've enjoyed all. Apart from Gargano and Ciampa, that I think took itself a bit too seriously. I've enjoyed them all. But for me, the Firefly Funhouse was just that bat poo crazy. It's my favourite one. Who's going
What an
next?
amazing answer. Wow, who can possibly follow that? I
You.
know. Jack can.
The Firefly Funhouse is my second favourite, but I think my favourite one was the Stadium Stampede on Saturday, because it was the right mixture for me of... I like these matches the best when they're like partly stupid and wacky, but partly still a match. So Money in the Bank for me was a little bit too on the silly side of it with these random jokes and like Doink the Clown and stuff. Firefly Funhouse, because it didn't even try to be a match, was good because of that. But I think the best one, when I sort of look at all of them and what I personally enjoyed the most, for me it has to be the Stadium Stampede, because there were just so many good parts, just so many funny and good parts. And there was a horse and a man on fire, and Britt killed a guy with a trident. I love that Anchorman. It was like that Anchorman scene. It was really funny. And Jericho throwing the challenge flag and making the ref look at the decision back. It was just all so good. So I'm going for that one, Stadium Stampede. What about you, Matthew?
Stadium Stampede was very good in what it was trying to do. I did like the Matt Hardy regenerating almost like Doctor Who until they got the proper one. It's a good bit. Liked it. Appreciate they can still use Impact's jokes even if they don't have the rights to it. But I'll go with, to be positive, the Boneyard match, because the build up to the match was what are we going to get? Like, it's all pre-taped. It's what the hell's a Boneyard match? And what we got, I remember watching, like, sit down, I was like, rum, rum, rum. I'm like, and then Metallica started playing. I went, oh, they're really going for it. They're really going to go, like, all in this thing. And it was just a silly action fight scene you get from, Hercules, the Legendary Journeys or something. But because I wasn't expecting it, and because it worked so well, because it was just a cheesy crap, cheesy. I keep on saying cheesy because it's the only thing I can think of to describe it. But that's what we want. Undertaker vs AJ Styles and an editing suite is way better than any match that those two are going to have just in a ring anywhere, despite what Undertaker may think on The Last Ride, chapter 33, however that ends up going. So I'm going to go with that because of how much of a pleasant surprise it was. But honourable mention to Gargano Ciampa. Not the match itself, of course, which was like watching paint dry, but for the one moment that, and credit for him still keeping it up, Brian Alvarez on his YouTube show started talking about how bad Mauro Ranello's commentary was, until Vinny had to point out there wasn't any commentary for the match. And then Brian moved on.
Wait.
That was the same Alvarez who said Otis climbed the ladder as well or something, didn't he? Someone tweeted me saying that he said that as well. Whoa.
What type of wrestling journo would talk about wrestling he hasn't seen?
I imagine the ladder one was just a slip of the tongue if he was like, and then he climbed the ladder and won the match, but not.
He climbed the ladder.
-5. No. Oh god, it's one of my favorite sound bites ever in wrestling. That it's so good.
It is. But you know what isn't -5 stars? These cinematic matches. Right now, these lads and lasses are doing what they can. Don't laugh at my segue. With what they've got and the stuff. And I'm glad they're doing this because the po-faced ultra serious wrestling stuff, it can work, depending on the place in the card. But as Ross said continuously through the review of Double or Nothing, wrestling needs variety. Sometimes that variety is silliness. Sometimes it's Cena Warrior Princess style fights. Sometimes it's crap. And sometimes that's what you want in a card. So
it sounded like you'd said Cena Warrior Princess, and I really want to see that. I really want to see that program now. John Cena Warrior Princess. Right on after Dolph Ziggler and Emmerdale. Sorry, that was a very good. Sorry,
I like Jones finding out where you live.
Sorry about cutting you off, though. That was a really good point. That was well.
No, that was fine. I'm glad you cut me off because I have nothing else to say on the point. Any other thoughts from the lads? Fine. Well, this seems a perfect time to end the podcast. There we go. I messed up my words. We got nearly this close before messing up anything. Podcast, call us whatever you like, but don't be late to next week's podcast and to see how long and ungainly my hair has become. I'm currently at the Peter Beardsley level. Let's see where it goes. Ross, have you got anything to plug that's coming up on Cultaholic?
I myself and my darling husband Sam are doing a tiered list ranking on some of the more famous wrestling couples because it was today that the video went live. It was the 28th of May, I believe, last year when that video went live of Vegas.
Oh,
there you go. Lovely.
What a happy memory that was.
Yeah. What was it? The Chapel of the Somethings. Forgotten what it was.
Chapel of the Broken Heart.
Yeah.
What a lovely time that was. And I think I will celebrate that by doing some edibles. What will you be doing, Jack?
I'm going to plug... I've just found out as we were doing the podcast, people might have seen me checking my phone. That's because I received a message from Adam Pacitti, who has told me that... I know. Who's told me that Tom is taking a few days off next week. So I will be back on Raw Graded. See you there, fans.
I can't imagine Tom not working. That's inconceivable. We'll have to see what happens there. And you can only find out what happens with those videos by subscribing to Cultaholic, which you should be by now. Be around here. Click the button. Give us a like as well. That's all that's this.
Like Spike!
Smash
Maffew.
that like button.
Please the algorithm. Like
That's
Spike!
It. All glory to the algorithm. And that's all we've got time for. Thank you very much. If you have any mailbag suggestions or recent pieces, please send them to mailbag@cultaholic.com. And if you'd like to vote in the Hall of Fame, please go to patreon.com/cultaholic. Yes, got it right. But at the end of the show, we always like to end it as we always do, which is by playing Simon Diamond's theme song.
Wave your hands in the air.
Wave around like you just don't
care. Yeah.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.